Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Croco Sports. This is today I'm going to be talking about the fantasy tight ends to keep an eye out. The ones not named Travis Kelce, the ones not named Zack Ertz, George Kittle. So I wanted to, because this was a position I found myself having trouble with when I was going through my drafts as well. Because like all of a sudden, I feel like tight ends are such like slim picking nowadays, and you really have to do your research to really find the one that's going to be solid enough throughout the year, unless there's some in-season pickups, if there's an injury that occurred. But I know a lot of you guys are preparing for your big NFL fantasy drafts, and I know that some mock drafts, like might have you like thinking which tight end should I pick? Do I pick like Kittle, Kelce early? And so yeah, I'm gonna be talking about the 5 tight ends not named Ertz, Kittle, or Kelce. So my first one is going to be Evan Ingram, of course. I love Evan Ingram so much. He had 68 targets throughout the year, and he had about like 44 catches for 467 yards, and he missed like missed 8 games. And that's been the narrative for Ingram. He's been his only bugaboo is just not being on the field so much. And you really count on a guy like that who's so versatile and who's a wide receiver in a tight end's body like that. So we used a first-round pick on him back in 2017, I believe. And I still believe in him. I really do. And it's just, he's so due. He's due for a great season. I really think so. And with Daniel Jones, too, like Daniel Jones down the stretch when Ingram wasn't really in the lineup, he was going for like Caden Smith, Rhett Ellison. He looks at his tight ends, and Evan Ingram is one of the best in the league. So I really expect him to have a bounce back. And he had 241 yards after the catch in just 8 games. So his yak is very crucial. My next tight end that I wanted to talk about is, I'm really hyped on him. I love Hayden Hurst that's on the Falcons now. As you remember, Ozzie Newsome, the GM, before he retired from the Ravens, his first round pick was Hayden Hurst. And like, it's so funny because Ozzie Newsome was a tight end back when he was playing, so it's just only right that he uses a tight end for the first round. Full circle. So Hayden Hurst has kind of a small sample size. He lost a lot of his touches to Mark Andrews, respectively, because Mark Andrews is a beast and Lamar Jackson loves him. Hayden Hurst, he had 40 targets, he caught 30 balls, like 349 yards. He averaged 8.7 yards per target. So you add him to a potent Falcons offense without Austin Hooper, filling the void of how Austin Hooper would get his catches day in and day out. I think Hayden Hurst will be a really great pickup to have. And I feel like he's been very low key as well. He's like, people are like saying, is he going to be good? Like there's a lot of question marks, but I say he's worth it. I think he's definitely going to be worth it with Matt Ryan, like with Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Hayden Hurst, Todd Gurley in the backfield too. It's a nice offense to I think a tight end will be valuable on an offense like that. So the next tight end I wanted to talk about was Chris Herndon for the New York Jets. And he's pretty tough because he missed 2019. He played a game or so, but he was suspended, he got injured, and so these stats are really from the 2018 season where he really had an impact during Darnold's rookie year. So he was out of commission for the 2019 season. In 2018, he had 56 targets with 31 catches. He thrives in the red zone. He had eight red zone targets, which was 11th in the league, I believe. And he had only 1 drop all of 2018. So I feel like the talent is definitely there. And like, I really would love to see Herndon really make a splash this year. That's definitely a sleeper. I believe he will do well in that offense with Sam Darnold, because I know all young quarterbacks love to throw their tight ends, and it's a security blanket in a way. Jason Witten. But yeah, I think Herndon will have a better year than the 2018 season, because now, he's been out of commission for a little bit, and now so he's with no off season, of course, during all this COVID-19 precautions and such, it's gonna be tough, but I believe in him, and I believe Darnold will get the ball to him. So Herndon's definitely a name to keep an eye out for. The next tight end I want to talk about is Darren Waller, who is, oh my God, I love his story. His story is really awesome as well. He had 90 catches off 117 targets. He had 11 deep targets. He was on the field basically all the time. He was on his snap share was like 90%, and he averaged 13.8 fantasy points a game. And he only had 3 touchdowns, so I definitely could see that going up a good amount. But yeah, like nobody knew of this guy. He was on the Ravens like years ago, and then he faced some just personal obstacles and like just drug use, alcoholism, and he bounced back in a huge way. 90 catches for a tight end, he's been in the league for like 4 or 5 years. And now all of a sudden, like he gets on the Raiders, and Derek Carr loves him, and he's huge threat. So Darren Waller is definitely a name to keep an eye out for sure. I love me some Darren Waller. The next tight end I wanted to talk about was going to be the last but definitely not least. It's going to be Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is such he would be in that top. Maybe he's arguably in the top 5 of tight ends. It depends on who you're talking to, but he has the injury bug himself, but he's like this could be the cause and effect that I see Evan Ingram having, because like Hunter Henry has hurt his knee numerous times, and yet he still comes back and still does a great job. He had 8 red zone receptions. He had 5 touchdowns on the year. He averaged about 12.3 fantasy points a game. He had 652 receiving yards off of 55 catches. He had 76 targets, and he had 113 yards after the catch. So the targets are there. It's very interesting to see how the Chargers offense is going to do with Tyrod Taylor / Justin Herbert. Like, see what that dynamic is going to be. Philip Rivers was the quarterback for so long, and now all of a sudden there's like a new quarterback room in the building. So it's very interesting to see how Hunter Henry's impact will change, but I do believe that he's going to do very well. That's going to be a very potent offense, honestly. Like with Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, you got Hunter Henry in the mix. Justin Jackson backing up Austin Eckler. Passes are going to be flowing. I remember down the stretch last year, I was like, oh man, I wish I had Hunter Henry, because I did have Zach Ertz. And Ertz was great, of course, but like there was like a 5-game gap where like Ertz was barely even playing. Like Dallas Goedert was getting the touchdowns. So, but really back to Hunter Henry, he's gonna be great. No, I really think so. Yeah, and like he has been. I feel like he misses a good amount of games, but you see that he always kind of comes back towards the end of the year, like with something to prove, and I really admire that. And it makes me want to believe in a guy like that. So those are my 5 tight ends that I really think will make an impact on your fantasy rosters this year. Comment below definitely to see if there's any other names I haven't mentioned. Honorable mention though, I wanted to the Cardinals tight end situation with Max Williams, Dan Arnold. That's a huge sleeper one, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight end room with O.J. Howard, Rob Gronkowski. Those are some tight end rooms I would definitely keep an eye out for. So yeah, definitely let me know if I missed anybody, like I said. And I love this so much. You guys make this happen every video. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Good luck in your fantasy drafts.